Day number 13, survived another day. Ran a lot, climbed a lot. Well, I didn't really run a lot. I climbed a hill a lot of times, and I ran down it a lot of times. But, yeah, running has become a bit of a sword for me over the past years. Anybody who knows me knows that I like to push my limits physically. And I've found that it opens up the doors a lot. If you can push yourself physically, push your body, challenge your body, you can kind of start to see your glass ceilings a little bit. And once those glass ceilings start to get shattered, once you can run a kilometer continuously, you can run. Once you run a kilometer continuously, you start to see the benefits of showing up consistently. 4 years ago, I couldn't even run a kilometer consistently, so I kept walking it, and then once I accomplished that, I moved up. Obviously, I progressed rather fast, but consistently pushing your limits and overcoming the fear of failure. I think failure is more of a state of mind. It's a state of fear. Fear that you just wouldn't be good enough, and fear that people will judge you, or like you will come across as, I don't know. I didn't read. I listened to a talk earlier that said fear is a rehearsal of things that you don't want to have happen. And that really struck me, because our society is basically fed off of fear. If you think about it, the news and like everything is geared towards keeping us fearful. Fearful of things that not yet may have happened, or that may happen, but haven't happened yet. And that translates well to like a fear of change, a fear of, even a fear of success, like a fear of emerging and being vulnerable, a fear of being judged, a fear of just kind of stepping outside of your box. And I forget his name, but he was talking about your 1 meter squared. I can't remember his words exactly, but essentially, in order to change the world, you don't look outside, you don't look down the road, but you focus in on your 1 meter squared that is around you, and what's happening within this bubble, this square of your own personal sphere of influence. So, and that kind of ties into like the vibration, the world, what you see in the world is what you see in the world is what you are on the inside, type of thing. So if all you feel is fear, then that's all you're going to. If all you see is fear, then you're going to perpetuate the negativity and the darkness that comes along with that. And it's not that far of a stretch to kind of tie that into addiction and the desire to hide, or not really hide, but to kind of rationalize it down into a victim mindset of where the world is just going to be like this, and that's the way it is, and kind of pigeonhole yourself into this little box that the world is fit for you. Kind of like the Matrix, where you see all these humans being harvested for their I forget what they're harvested for, their imagination or something, their brain power to fuel this supercomputer. And that, man, it's kind of trippy when you think about it, because that's kind of what's happening. If you stop and listen, you're always being told what to fear. There's always a big boogeyman. Every year it seems to be something different. And once a big news story breaks, then it doesn't take long for it to glaze over, before a new fear happens, and then something new to distract you from focusing inward. And that's where the real fucking change is going to happen. Once we can all own the shit that is happening in our 1 meter squared, own the shit that we're trying to escape from, and start facing down the shit that we're trying to rationalize down into bite-sized pieces. That's where the world's going to change. Like, there's 8 billion people on the earth, and we're basically controlled by a very small percentage of that, who control the media. And I don't want to get conspiracy theory or whatever, but just just take a step back and imagine if you were somebody so powerfully rich, you wouldn't want the majority of people to become self-aware enough that they start questioning the influence that the world has on them. So you want to keep the darkness. You want to keep the veil of darkness. You want to keep the veil of darkness as your power. That's the power that you use. And the darkness being like fear and distraction, and just these little pigeonholes that you try to put people into. You make people think that they're broken. And it's pretty fucked up. If you know history at all, our way of life is only about 100 years old. Industrial revolution and whatnot. And sure, our culture affords some great conveniences. I'm not denying that. Like, power's great, refrigeration, food, and like, I'm not fucking saying that is all bad. But if you look back, like, our history as humans, as civilization, goes back thousands of years, and our way of life is only about 100 years old. So, like, once you start to study what changed, it was the access to information, maybe not the access, the ease of propagating information, I think it would be a better way to put it. And the study of the human psychology, I guess, is being used against... Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'm kind of getting down the conspiracy a little bit, but just remain open. Like, observe the world from the view of history to, like, now, and you can kind of see why our culture is so fucked up. Like, mental health, mental illness and stuff. Like, maybe it's always been a thing, but it's so prevalent nowadays. Like, addiction, substances, pharmaceuticals, even like fucking video games, gambling, pornography. That's so fucking prevalent nowadays. It's kind of scary. So, like, when are we going to start asking those questions? When are we going to start looking in the mirror and being like, how am I contributing to this shit show of a goddamn society that we're in? And not to be like, oh, we need a revolution, or like our system's broken, but I think what is broken is our own kind of perception. Our own perception of being powerless. And a lot of that has to do with, like, demonizing religion and demonizing the Bible, or demonizing the lessons that have been passed down for thousands of years. And they worked up until, like, maybe 50 years ago, or maybe even more sooner than, like, 30 years ago. And sure, there's great examples of evil people doing evil things in the name of religion and whatnot. But I'm talking, like, if you read the Bible, and you can kind of pick and choose what lessons there is in there. And you know what? I'm not religious by any means. I've never gone to church. I've never been one to preach God or whatever, but to deny the fact that there's something that made us aware of being aware, like that shit doesn't happen by accident, I don't think. Yeah, an awareness of being aware. I think that's a fucking superpower that a lot of, for me especially, like a lot of my life I wasn't using it. I was kind of, oh, what am I trying to say? I felt lost. Like I felt pigeonholed as a victim. And just romanticizing about the past, like the past generations. Like they all had a very clear kind of collective goal of like survival, essentially. So that was a very real fear of propagating civilization in itself. But now here we are, like the world has become small. Anything we want is at our fingertips. But yet we're, as a whole, I hate to generalize, but it feels like we're being blamed for being broken almost. Not being blamed, but the responsibility is being taken away from us for fixing our own shit. So maybe just kind of think about how fear is playing into your thought process. Like I talked about the addiction to thought process before and how that feeds into addiction. And a lot of that, I think, the more I think about it, is the fear of change, the fear of being so powerful that you can actually change yourself. That's pretty profound. Wow. A lot of it's fear driven, and the human psychology has never really changed. So the more that the powers that be, they've studied human behavior, they've studied psychology, they've studied how we react to certain stressors, to certain circumstances. So we're being fed all of this. We're being not fed even. We're being fucking immersed in this fucking shitstorm of fear. But I want whoever's watching this to know, or to not know, but kind of challenge yourself a little bit to see in what ways is fear driving your behavior or like your thoughts. Like there's a fear of success, a fear of being vulnerable or being seen as soft, and that's kind of the line I'm taking. And I'm proud to do it, but it's hard. It's fucking hard because it goes against everything that I've grown up knowing, is to not make waves, to kind of just grow a pair and fucking get over it, or like fuck that, man. Like fucking speak it out to the world. And there's a couple examples out there, but they don't get the fucking limelight that the people that tell you to be scared do. Yeah, oh fuck. And a lot of it is distraction. A lot of it is kind of immediate gratification, entertainment, flashing lights, you know, fucking, it comes in many different forms, but just shut the fucking noise out. Just kind of, and I'm not saying be a Puritan, like don't fucking swear off phones or technology, but kind of just look at yourself in the mirror, or like even turn everything off and sit with yourself, sit with your thoughts, and ask yourself, like, what am I afraid of? Like, why? Now, am I going to wake up one day when I'm on my deathbed and regret not having the courage to change something? or to ask those hard questions, or to do those hard things that are nagging at you enough that you want to hide from, or that you want to those thoughts that are nagging at you so bad that they drive you to substances, or to relying on outside circumstances to kind of to cope with. Like, I think we're all very powerful beings. I think we're created to handle fucking anything. We're wired to survive. We are also wired to be we're wired to do what it takes to self-preserve enough to kind of propagate, to expand. And I think that power has kind of been taken away from us, or we've kind of strayed away from it a little bit, and more we are relying on pills or screens or these poison thoughts of like not fitting in, or like, oh, it must be broken, and that's powerful, man. I think that the more we can ask ourselves, like, what more can I do to be of value to my environment, or like to be living a more fulfilling life, I think that's what we can all do to kind of help the world fix itself. Like, it's not the world that's broken. I think it's our individual perceptions of each other, and especially of ourselves. So take your power back, ask the hard questions. This video's getting long again. I feel like I fucking rambled, but if it made sense, you know what, fucking let me know. Leave a comment. I'm not going to tell you like or subscribe or anything, you know, you do what you want to do, but ask those hard questions, do the hard things, and fucking grow. Like, don't stop growing. Fuck, here we go. Like, day 13. Man, I feel fucking powerful. Tell you what, I think I'm doing God's work. I'm not religious, but you know what? I am spiritual. I think I talk to crows, for crying out loud, but maybe I'm crazy. I don't fucking know. I'd rather be crazy than the alternative, because the alternative made me fucking crazy. I tell you what, I felt trapped. I felt lost, but now I feel fucking driven. It's hard. It's tough. But I think one day it's all going to come together a little bit, and I'm going to be grateful for this fucking challenge that I've put in front of me. Well, the challenges that I've put in front of me, and yeah, I'll be better off for it. I think I can make a difference in the world a little bit, and if we all felt that, if we all kind of took ownership, and we carried our burdens, yeah, we could change the world. I think that's a powerful thought. Anyways, day 13's done. This video is almost 20 minutes. If you've watched this far, man, I appreciate you. I wish you peace. I wish you power. Yeah, I'll fucking see you day 14. 2 weeks down. Nothing to it. Bullshit. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's uncomfortable. It sucks. It sucks to be so vulnerable, but my backbone's strong. I have a soft front, and my heart is wild as a motherfucker. I got a dragon in my soul, and the dragon is fucking hungry. The dragon is awake. Like, I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to fucking climb mountains. I'm ready to tear the mountains down, for crying out loud. Let's go. Alright, see you day 14, whatever the fuck it is. 2 weeks down to tomorrow? What's the date? Day 13. Alright, I'm out. Later, fuckers.